All right, so I'm talking about my jacket. I finished my coat. Um, it's very sturdy construction. Uh, Sorry, I'm repeating myself. I ordered cowhide. Uh, it's thicker than the one before. It's also less expensive, and you generally get more to work with. So I didn't have to piece work, meaning there's lines on the jacket that I cut the leather, and then I pieced together. And since it's thicker hide, I layered them on top of each other, dyed the edge, zigzagged to keep that edge down, and then did 2 layers of straight stitching. Not with this. I have a cover stitch, but it's really for it's geared for knits, but it can run 2 needles and stitch at the same time. This one I had to engineer straight rows, you know, hold hold it steady, and let's see, what else? Since I discovered in my executive decision making that I have a really big hide, part of the reason one might cut pieces would be to accommodate, the fact that you're working with a small hide. Well, I wasn't working with a small hide, so on the arm originally had a piece here, a piece here, and a piece here, and they were stitched with stitching lines. Didn't meet the back, and all I did was I supplied just the stitching line. I didn't put any layers together because I thought, you know what? The stitching, in part, we could say is for look and it's for construction based on a small hide. But I'm not working with a small hide, but I still like the designer lines. And let's see, what else? Gosh, I was really lucky because a lot of this, making executive decisions, um, I had to making executive decisions going into winter, kick-ass winter weather. Albeit, I've thought about this and done sample runs for a year, but I had to just get in there and eye it. I had to eye it. And so, I got the body of the coat done, except for the cuffs and the hood. That was a couple of days ago. And I put like the decorative stitch lines here, and just worked with one piece here rather than pieces because I'm working with a big hide. But then it came time for the hood, and the hood has a lot of fox fur and then mink on the inside. The interior of the jacket's pretty good. It did have interior pockets, and it was originally a reversible jacket, but it has places that are worn out in the elbows. The fur is completely worn, where the hands would go in the jacket, kind of worn. And I decided I didn't need interior jackets, interior pockets, so I closed those up and tried to get rid of the bare spots, as it were. So I don't wear the jacket to show that I'm wearing a fur. I wear the coat because the fur and this hood is it's really impenetrable in this weather. And but one of the things I had to eye is very happy about, just like sometimes when your experience allows you to do that, because it's just like if my eye wasn't good, I'd have to make the hood again. And well, that's not like, the end of the world because I have more leather it's a process again, and I didn't have to do that. So when I say I had to eye it, the other hood, I had to take it off. I had to cut it off. And what I decided to do with putting the new hood on, rather than sew it onto the fox fur, because the fox fur was already sewn onto a thin leather coat, a leather hide, which was probably lamb, goat, or pigskin, I'm assuming. I taped with blue tape, I taped the fur back so I could get it out of my seam line and wouldn't cut it. And it's still fluffy, it flopped forward, but I was able to push it back, and it kept all the fur out of it, out of my cutting and sewing. And I just eyed, like, I'm leaving a 1/2 inch of the old leather on because I'm going to put this new leather, I'm going to sew it on top of the old leather, which is in good shape. This doesn't get much, the hood does not get much, what are we saying, stress on the seams. So I thought that was a good thing to do. And what else? Well, what's nice about it is at first I thought I made a mistake because there's about about 1.25 inches overhang here. And I thought, oh, I didn't make the hood long enough because I didn't measure, I eyed it. What I did is I took that old hood out, clipped out the old pieces, laid them down, knowing that this other leather was thinner, also would have a tendency over time to stretch a little bit. So in a way, I had to look at the pattern again and, bring out my ruler. And I don't know what they call it because I'm basically self-taught as a seamstress too. But I have a ruler with a hip curve. And so I can, I could check those curves and just try and think of how does that fit with my arm here? And does it need to go out? And when we're looking at this shape here, so I just eyed it, and I thought when I laid this in, so put a center mark here on the jacket, back, center mark here, sewed one way, sewed the other because I wanted it to be centered, and thought that, there was that much, 1.25 inches before the zip line, and I thought, oh no, I didn't make the hood width long enough. But I went back and I checked the original as best I could, and they do make an allotment for the fur, to the fox fur to overhang. So I was pretty excited. By eyeing it, I had done the right size and made smart decisions where I could in terms of understanding what the intent is, cutting the leather for a decorative seam, or because you're working with a small hide, or changing how I put it together. I did order new mink for the cuffs. I made the cuffs thicker, and that's very fuzzy when you cut it. They told me it's going to be fuzzy, so I cut it. All I had on hand was blue tape. I'm like, before anything puffs up, I'm taking my tape, trying to keep it somewhat contained. But what else? I chose for the look. I liked it. I got it at Joann's, so I'm not certain. It's an industrial zipper, but it's called a waterproof zipper, and the coil is on the inside. the nylon coil is, and what's nice is it's got satin flanges in the way that I turn them, tuck them in. I don't get any rubbing from the coil being on the inside, which is nice. That could be a consideration. The other thing is that it's a really shiny satin fabric where the zipper is, but it shows no coil. And so I've just got this kind of shiny little satin, like, what are those called? Shoot, tuxedo pants? Yeah, it's got like a little, a little shiny satin stripe. And supposedly it's waterproof. I'd hope it's industrial. We'll see. I can always put another zipper in. Not that I want to particularly, because I don't like stressing the leather where I perforate it, take it undone, and do it again. But I added 2 inches to it also. And let's see, there's an elastic sewn in here. I used a very hardy, something kind of like bungee cord. You might be able to get this at rock climbing shops. I've been out of the industry for a long time, so I can't remember what it's called. But I took a vinyl and sewed that into the zipper area. I didn't put the elastic into the zipper area because the elastic's round, and that would have made that zipper area very bulky and bumpy. And then I took a nylon ribbon and encased that elastic in there so that there's no stitch line on the bottom. I turned it all inside. Used a little bit of the old leather here to extend both the 2 inches of length that I added and the mink where it was kind of getting worn at the hem. So I was able to trim that and leave only what was nice. Put a little grommet there so that if the elastic stretches out, I've got recourse to adjust the jacket without taking it apart, which I had to do with the first jacket because the elastic, it disintegrated. So I'm using a much hardier elastic. Trying to think, what else? It's a pretty awesome jacket. It's so funny that I'm part of the fur club, I guess. But it's nice. It was a long jacket to begin with, but it's nice because it fits right under the bum. Cute little pockets. I put satin lining in the pockets. The color's called mink. And what else? Yes, let it snow. And very shiny. I've already put leather conditioner on it, so it remains supple. I promptly did a lot of leather items in my apartment. What else? Okay, so we were talking about me seeing someone that I'm interested in, and whether that's a go or not, my work as my art, a route, preserving my time in time as my way, as my art, my ability to mark in my art and remark in my art, and just putting that out there for you in the sense that I feel I have done my work, and get that out of the way. I feel I've done my work, and of what would seem I have loved, and uh, you know, I'm not waxing eloquent right now. um, but I'm suggesting that your till is still ill, because we haven't crossed time for real, and what that's going to come down to is considering that I think, and I think part of why Rich is not allowed to talk on me is because Sharon, put this up, put this over here. Sorry, you gotta make this smaller to fit. Alright, put that there. So, I think it's about Sharon not allowing Rich to speak on me because Rich doesn't speak on Sharon, but I'm saying that our times are significantly different. Sharon earns her money off of Rich in the competitive marketplace. For Rich to speak on to Sharon is to speak to represent every Doft, because that's only what the competitive marketplace has pawned Doft. All right. So, thinking, so I don't, so what it comes down to is then, you know, Sharon can be conceivably seen as tooling a look of coupledom, DOMEDH, in parentheses, OME, dome and home, but emphasizing but it's really just for managerial looks, and you know, what this comes down to is, well, I imagine it comes down to desire. So, my position, I have a cold today, so trying to get over head, nose, whatever, but trying to, you know, hallmark the time, as it were. This is my route. I'll be doing it regardless. I have some things I still want to get up. I was speaking earlier before I got Movavi Screen Grabber to work here, that I was rusty with using my machines, but I'm looking forward to, it's nice to get one project up, and I'll be working on more projects, I think, as a way to have a little more balance in my life. Curiously, I have decided on, I have a canopy bed. It's designed in Italy, so it's called a baldacchino, but it's a canopy basically, and it's made of hand hammered and shaped iron, and it's not mold, poured in a mold, and I have thought that I would like to design the bed sham and what would be the canopy drape. One reason I'd like a drape is because I get the morning sun, and in summer that sun is 5 or 6 in the morning, and I sleep with an eye mask on, and I'm a pink varietal, skin-wise, and I end up getting suntan or sunburn. So it's nice to have that block, but also I feel that it best represents my cheeky personality. And um, I recently purchased the Aspen Pendleton blanket from the 1920s design from the Quaking Asp. And I am from the West, so I'm kind of enjoying, in a way, getting back to the feel of that area. And so the idea is to make, this is just my first draft. I'll articulate it better because I have to get measurements. This is just by eye, but I have to get measurements. But I want to have large engineered scallops in the leather. And the colors I have selected is desert for the sham and buttercream for the canopy drape. And part of the reason I like desert is a little darker, so I feel it kind of grounds the base of the bed and it goes nice with my carpet. And why I like the buttercream is because I like the inside color. So we've got the outside color of the buttercream, but I like the inside color, which is it's an old gold. And what I like about that is my hand hammered iron frame bed has, well, it's black because it's iron. They've put a light rub of gold on it. So it's not total gold. It just hits the high points, and I thought that would bring that together nicely. And it's also a color that I like looking at. So that was the consideration for buttercream, was liking the exterior and liking the interior, because that can also be seen. And also, what I liked about buttercream as far as the exterior is it is lighter. I am working a Western theme and in part Indian, and choosing a lighter color, while it's not rawhide, it's still light. It reminds me of a teepee, maybe a wash in the sunshine. So it's not that light, but it is light. And then what I like about that, in that it's a light color, it's opaque. You can't see through it, so it's also dark. So those are the things that I sit in my apartment and think about in terms of, all right, I think I know myself well enough now to not look at someone else's design, but to come up with my own, to understand it's a simplicity and construction that I'm going for. I'm just going to cut those scalloped edges and then hang them. Boop. And with a little articulated cheek, for instance, there's going to be a break in the middle on the side of the bed, and it kind of looks like a little plum bomb there. So I'll show you. Plum bomb. I don't know if that's too close. So I've got to do a little math. So my scallops are all engineered to fit the base of the bed. Kind of looks like they need to flare out at the side because, I've got to think about wrapping the corner. And so I've decided to do leather sham, leather canopy drape, somewhat reminiscent of the West and an Indian's trait. And I might put a swath of fabric over the top, but I want that to be light and airy. And so I was just playing with ideas that of leather corners that I can just hook over the little knob on top of the canopy rod, but that's what they look like. So just playing with ideas. Anyway, getting the coat done was like it's been a long project. That's been a year at least. Thinking about it, getting samples, ordering the fabric and realizing that it seems thicker than the sample. So let me go talk to the experts at Tandy in Boston. You know, wondering, got off track here a little bit. What else? Yeah, kind of excited about that project after project. The other funny thing is that little $20 smock that I bought from Macy's. That off gases. I don't know what it is about that garment. I've washed it several times and I'm still like, ew, it smells like petroleum. You're telling me it's cotton canvas, but it smells like petroleum. I don't get it. But I kind of want to make some, I think it's really comfortable dressing, and I'll probably be making some iterations of that with, I'm looking at fabric folding techniques and smocking. But so I might make smocks with smocking. All right, that's it for now. I'm hoping to feel better and to get back here industriously and start making a mark in preparations for the new year.